Welcome to the Calculus 2 AI and CAS component. Today we'll be diving into the second lecture of this series, focusing on how to use Wolfram Alpha and Copilot together to solve problems, and we'll explore the concept of prompt engineering to get better responses from AI tools. This lecture aims to enhance your problem-solving skills by leveraging these powerful tools effectively. In this lecture, we will cover three main topics: how to use Wolfram Alpha and Copilot in conjunction to solve a problem. We'll see how these tools complement each other and how to use them together for more comprehensive solutions. How to prompt Copilot to get a better response. This process is known as prompt engineering. We'll discuss techniques for crafting effective prompts that yield accurate and useful responses. Lastly, how to engineer prompts specifically in a math setting. This includes understanding the nuances of mathematical language and how to communicate your questions clearly to AI tools. Let's start with a problem to illustrate our approach. We'll compute this integral, the integral of cosine squared of x times sine cubed of x from 0 to pi. Take a second to think how you would solve this integral. Some of you may know how to solve this already, but for the sake of demonstration, let's say we don't. If we don't know where to start, we can use the tools we have to gather more information. While Wolfram Alpha could compute the integral directly, we wouldn't understand the steps it took. So let's use both tools to gain a deeper understanding. Instead of jumping straight to the solution, we'll break down the problem and use Wolfram Alpha to visualize it first. So let's use Wolfram Alpha to plot the integrand and the antiderivative. Remember, the antiderivative is the thing we are after here. So these are two screenshots of the plots. These plots help us visualize the problem and reinforce any expectations we might have. In particular, the graph of the antiderivative appears to have similar behavior to a sine or cosine curve. So maybe we can expect something like that in our final answer, that the antiderivative is a combination of sines or cosines. Next, let's look at the plot of the integrand, especially the area underneath the curve. The plot here provides some nice information. Take a second and pause the video, thinking about what you can learn from this function by just looking at the plot. One thing you may notice is that the curve is above the x-axis from 0 to pi, so we should expect a positive answer. If we were asked to compute the integral over a larger interval, say from 0 to 2 pi, we notice that there is some symmetry over the x-axis. This could shorten our solution. Perhaps some of these areas cancel out these. Despite all of this, the visualizations we found are just to help us understand the function better. Wolfram Alpha doesn't always provide adequate explanation and the step-by-step computation we need. So let's move over to Copilot to understand the process a little more effectively. All right, next we'll turn to Copilot for a more detailed explanation. Copilot is effective at understanding questions and providing step-by-step solutions. We'll focus on asking for steps only. As we will see later, this is an example of prompt engineering, which involves crafting our questions carefully to get the most useful responses. All right, so let's look at this response that Copilot gave us. So here I'm asking for the steps in solving the integral that we have. I say, do not give me the solution, I only want the steps. And this is Copilot's response. It says, first, rewrite the integrand. So sine cubed as sine times sine squared. And then use the identity sine squared of x equals 1 minus cosine squared of x. Then I'll use a u substitution, u equals cosine of x, du is negative sine of x, and then this substitution would hopefully help simplify the integral. After that, I'll adjust the limits of integration with my new substitution, rewrite the integral in terms of u, simplify and integrate, and then evaluate with the bounds of the definite integral. All right, so these are the steps that Copilot suggested. Let's see if we can apply these suggestions to actually working through the problem. So here I have a screenshot of us working through the problem. So let's look, here's our original integral, the integral from 0 to pi of cosine squared of x times sine cubed of x. And here we're going to apply step 1. So it says rewrite the integrand as sine times sine squared and then use this identity. So here's where the sine squared would be. And I've replaced it with 1 minus cosine squared of x. Step 2, it says use u substitution. So here I substitute u as cosine of x, and then this sine of x becomes a negative du. Okay, so now steps 3 and 4, I change the bounds here from 0 and pi to 1 and negative 1. And then here I'll flip them, and then rewrite the entire integral in terms of u. Okay, so now I'm right here. And this looks like a really nice sort of simple integral for me to solve. So I'll do step 5, find the antiderivative, and then finally step 6, evaluate at the bounds. Great, so the steps that Copilot gave me went through the entire problem. And I was able to incorporate these steps and get to what I think is the right answer. But how do we know that we're right? We need to verify our solution. So we'll revisit Wolfram Alpha to check our work. By comparing the results from what we've just done using Copilot and Wolfram Alpha, we can identify any discrepancies and correct them. This dual approach helps us learn and understand the problem-solving process more thoroughly. Okay, by comparing the results from Copilot and Wolfram Alpha, we can confirm the correctness of our solution. So it looks like they got the same answer that we did. So this step is crucial for building confidence in our problem-solving abilities and being able to practice effectively so we can check our own answers. Now you might wonder, why didn't we just use Wolfram Alpha from the beginning? Well, the answer is simple. It's to learn. By using both tools, we gain a deeper understanding of the problem and the methods used to solve it. Wolfram Alpha provides the final answer, but Copilot helps us understand the steps involved. This combination of tools enhances our learning experience and helps us develop a more comprehensive understanding of calculus. Now that we have seen an example of how we can use Wolfram Alpha and Copilot to solve a problem, let's go back to something we mentioned briefly in a previous slide: prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is crucial when working with large language models or LLMs like Copilot. The input we provide for an LLM can significantly affect the output. In other words, the way we phrase our questions can determine the quality of the responses we get. In the previous problem, notice that we specifically asked for the steps and made it clear that we weren't looking for the solution. If we just ask for the solution, we won't be learning anything helpful along the way. In fact, sometimes it doesn't show you any work at all, it just tells you what the answer is. It is only through practicing our problem-solving skills that we develop the ability to solve problems in calculus, so it's important to make this distinction. Ultimately, the moral of the story is that good prompt engineering involves writing clear, specific questions to get accurate and helpful answers. So let's see some examples of what I mean by this. Here's a first example. So here I've asked Copilot to give me a rigorous description of the theory of integration. And it looks like it starts off pretty well. So this is all stuff we recognize: definite and indefinite integrals. Sure, this all looks normal. There's the fundamental theorem of calculus. I see something that looks like that. Definite integral. Okay. Next, it says Riemann integration. I feel like I've heard the word Riemann before, maybe. So dividing into subintervals. This is starting to look a little unfamiliar. As far as what I know as a Calculus 2 student, well, in particular, I don't even know what this means. What is limit as p goes to 0? And then this, I don't think I've ever heard of this in calculus. Lebesgue integration? Measure theory? Okay, so clearly there can be some issues when we just ask an open-ended question to Copilot, right? Copilot doesn't understand that I'm in Calc 2 and I don't know what any of this means. So this isn't very helpful to me. So let's try to rephrase the question a little bit differently. Here we go. Please give me a rigorous description of the theory of integration. Formulate your response so that an early calculus student could understand it and limit your response to 3 paragraphs. So here it gives us a nice condensed paragraph form of a response. And if you notice, all of the stuff in this paragraph, I'll give you a minute to read it, is all something that a student in Calculus 2 could understand. So if you want to find the area from a curve, under a curve from A to B, you could compute the definite integral of the function. The result is a specific numerical value representing the total area. To compute an integral, you can use various techniques such as substitution. You should know that. Integration by parts, I believe you've covered that by now. Partial fractions. These methods can help simplify the integrand to make the integration process more manageable. Okay, this is great. This is all stuff that I understand, and it's more useful to me than the first one. So again, this is an example of how you formulate your question, right? How you formulate your question matters. Let's look at another example. So this is the example from the beginning. This is the integration problem that we had. And this is the exact same thing. One of the issues with this is that I think that if we're trying to figure out how to integrate a problem or how to integrate an integral, we don't want all of the steps all at once. Sometimes we just need a little push, right? We don't need the entire thing. So instead of asking for all of the steps to the solution, maybe you could just ask for the first step. So here, the first step is rewriting sine cubed of x as sine times sine squared, and then using this identity. Okay, and for a lot of us, this might be enough to finish the integral. And that's really the furthest we should go. So when you're trying to solve these integrals, consider just asking for a little hint. Another way of doing this is just by explaining the key idea. So instead of asking for multiple steps or the first step, you could just say, what's sort of the trick to solving this integral? And here it gives you sort of a combination of the first and second steps. So again, we see it using this identity. Notice how it doesn't say rewrite sine cubed as sine times sine squared. It just says use this identity because that really is the key part. And then we're going to use substitution. And here they give you a couple different options. You can use this identity or this identity and then make an appropriate use substitution. Okay, so these are all really nice ways to use Copilot to just give you a hint, just to help you along in the process of solving an integral. Remember that Copilot and these tools, they're supplements. They're not replacements for learning. They're just supplements. They're to try to help you. One last thing I wanted to point out. I don't know if you noticed this, but in the initial slide for this, I had the integrand terms written in reverse order. I had it as sine cubed of x times cosine squared of x. And this is because when I typed the integrand like this in my first prompt, I got this identity. So it sees cosine squared and it immediately says to use the trigonometric identity to simplify it to this. Now, the integral that I get then would be sine cubed of x minus sine to the fifth of x. Now, this is still a doable integral, but it's not as nice as the one I would have had I used the other substitution. And the only way that Copilot gave me the other substitution was by me changing the order of the terms. So this is a subtle way. Sometimes you have to play around with these things to get the kind of response that you want. But there are subtleties to how it reads the prompt that you give it. Okay. To summarize, Wolfram Alpha is accurate. It's a good visual tool, that is excellent for verifying answers, but it does not always provide detailed explanations. It's great for getting quick answers and visualizing functions, but it doesn't always show the steps involved. Copilot and other LLMs can sometimes be wrong and are heavily dependent on input, requiring good prompt engineering to get desired results. They are good for explanations, but not always reliable for verifying answers. By combining these tools, we can leverage their strengths and mitigate their weaknesses. Okay, now you should practice some prompt engineering and solve problems using both Copilot and Wolfram Alpha. Practice crafting specific and clear prompts to get the best responses from Copilot. Use Wolfram Alpha to verify your solutions and visualize the problems. This hands-on practice will help you become proficient in using these tools together. When you feel ready, start the corresponding assignment to apply what you've learned. Once again, thank you for your attention, and I will see you in the third and last video in this lecture series.